one, he made a conscious effort to prepare, and he prepares every week. He's a football guy. He made a conscious decision to prepare and play good with his eyes and his feet and things like that. But one thing that gets overlooked sometimes, the guys around him played better too. I've said this before, so much of what the quarterback and his success is dictated on other people doing their job. And we had a lot of people the other day doing their job, and that's the expectation that I'm talking about that we put on ourselves. Just do your job, do what you're supposed to do it how you're supposed to do it, and do it when you're supposed to do it. It's relatively simple. Now, it gets harder when you stop doing it on air and go against someone, because they impact that as well.
There's Freddie Kitchens talking about Baker Mayfield. Have you noticed, you speak to Baker almost every day, right?
We get him once a week.
Is that it? You don't get him, you can't sneak him out other than that?
No, he doesn't really like to do that.
Do you notice a difference in him this year versus last year?
He was a little more standoffish, I think, in training camp and leading into the
this
year. Yeah, not necessarily. I just don't know that he loves the group interviews as much. But I will say today when we talked to him, I don't know if a weight was lifted off because he finally kind of played like he expects to play. He seemed a little looser today, a little more, I don't want to say cordial because it's not like he's like nasty to any of us, but he just seemed more comfortable today, I guess.
I think he needs more sleep. That house he lives in, 70,000 people strong, is kind of big to get some sleep in.
He can't
take a nap.
Trying to figure out which fuse to
Got to bring
switch,
straws to his wife and all that stuff.
Mowing the lawn. Come on, you can have somebody else do that.
Do you think? Yeah, you got the stripes already out there for you. Do you think that? I remember when Colt McCoy was here, and he was in a commercial before he'd ever put on a uniform for practice. It was for a car dealership, and he wasn't ready to be that guy. Baker is that guy already. No matter, almost the personality allows that to happen, I guess.
Yeah, Baker's kind of made for that.
Yeah.
And he's really good at branding himself and kind of controlling what he wants to put out there. He's got a little bit of that, LeBron in him, like being able to control what he endorses, who he talks to. He really controls all those elements of his life.
Well, do you think what Rex Ryan was talking about had something to do with that, and the fact that if he was 1-3, it wouldn't be a good look?
Yeah, well, it's never a good look if you're the starting quarterback and you're losing and you've got a bunch of commercials out there. It's kind of the world we live in now, yeah. But it's never a great look if that's the situation.
What do you see the rest of the year with him? He's not going to have games. He's not going to have game in and game out. He's got to win games when he may not totally be there.
Yeah, he's got to be able to win a game when Freddie Kitchens was talking about the rest of the team played really well on Sunday.
Right.
He's got to win games when the rest of the team doesn't play well. When Nick Chubb's not running the ball or there's drop passes, he's got to find a way to win games. And I think the really good news is we're going to see him in the second half going against some teams that he's going to be able to really put some numbers up against and really play well against. And
that's
so I think he's going to finish really strong.
Yeah, if they can hang in there this first half of the season, then they can put some distance between everybody else.
But he's also got to be able to beat a team like Seattle. And
at home.
Honestly, I don't think they're going to go to Foxborough and beat New England. But if you're a top-tier quarterback, you should be able to go to Foxborough and put up a pretty good fight and give your team a chance. So those are things we need to see from him.
Great point. But do you see the confidence in the rest? He's got Odell Beckham for the first time. Do you see some kind of confidence between the two going, or are they still feeling each other out?
I feel like it's still a little bit off. But the good thing is, and I think we're starting to see signs of this, Freddie Kitchens last year made an effort to get Jarvis Landry involved when he took over as OC. I feel like some of the stuff he was doing Sunday, we saw, letting Odell throw a pass, running that little option with Jarvis. I think things like that are Freddie Kitchens' way of getting Odell a little more involved, a little more comfortable, and now we're going to see the ball go his way a little more from Baker Mayfield, and they're going to connect eventually. It still might take a little while.
And to his defense, you heard all kinds of stuff about him. I'll be honest with you, and I think most fans would be honest, that they didn't watch a lot of New York Giants football the last couple of years. But they heard about him, and they knew that maybe he was trouble, especially if the team was losing, which the Giants were doing all the time. So far, he hasn't been in any trouble, and it's not like the Browns are walking away with the division.
No, and he's not getting a ton of balls, but he's running down the field and blocking. He's involved in plays where he doesn't have the football. He's really good when he talks to us. He's one of those guys that if he's got something to say, he's going to figure out a way to say it, and he'll answer your question. And I mean, he so far has been great to work with. And there were people who covered him in New York who kind of told some of us the same thing. Like, he's actually a really great player to work with from a media standpoint.
And from a player standpoint, he's a good teammate.
Yeah, everybody seems to like him. He's already kind of getting that mention as a leader in the locker room along with Jarvis Landry. Those two guys are really kind of taking leadership of that room and the team.
But what you get with him is earrings, you get watches, you get visors.
Yeah.
That's just nothing harmful, just kind of flamboyant, I guess, is the way I guess you'd say that.
You get some distractions. You know, you got to write a story
Every
about
week.
a watch. You got to ask about a watch or a visor or him losing an earring. I mean,
Well,
you just get some of those distractions.
It's hard for him to say, hey, what are you asking me that for? Leave me alone. When you wear that, you got to expect to get it.
Yeah, and I think he knows it too.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes he might kind of play it off as, oh, it's no big deal, but he knows what he's doing.
Right.
He knows that everything he does is going to get attention somewhere. But it's worth it for a guy like that. And I think we're going to see
So
that
far
as the
it
year
is.
goes along.
So far it is.
Yeah.
He's been fun. You know, you mentioned before running downfield, making a block, or being part of the envoy into the end zone. You wouldn't necessarily expect that of a guy like that all the time, and yet I can't think of a play where he didn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't a guy that has to go hard every single play.
Right.
You know, he's already had a great career. You know he's going to do more on the field. He's made his money, all of that, but he's still out there. You know, sometimes
There's more money to be
playing
made.
like a rookie. You know,
There's more money to be
oh
made.
yeah,
I
of
understand.
course. Of course, he's got another 2 or 3 contracts
Yeah,
in him.
that's
right?
for sure. 2-1.